Desperate Aussies raiding their superannuation are battling the clock as share market falls eat away their money quicker than they can get to it. Members are complaining they cannot get their money fast enough as people rush to access up to $10,000 this financial year. Joining me now live is Sophie Elsworth, News Corp National Personal Finance Writer. Sophie, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Firstly, can you take us through how many people, do we have the figures, have actually accessed their super early?
The figures are amazing. We've already had 520,000 Australians being given the green light and had their applications processed and money handed over to them by the ATO, which is quite amazing. This is equated to $4.4 billion. And on average, they're getting about $8,400 each. So this is a huge take-up, Danica, but prior to that, we had nearly 1 million Australians register their interest in the scheme. So in the coming weeks, we will continue to see hundreds of thousands of Australians access their superannuation prematurely.
I mean, they're phenomenal figures, Sophie. Is it surprising that there's been so many people accessing it? Is that what the government had forecast, or has it exceeded the expectations?
Look, the government forecast that there would be about 1.6 million Australians access their super early. Now, just last Monday, the kitty opened up, so to speak, of superannuation. Money could start to be accessed from Monday. So we're only a week in and we've already got to almost a third of what the government is predicting of people access it. So, look, the coming weeks will be very busy for the ATO and super funds. They have to move quickly. The super funds have to pass that money through to the member within 5 business days of their application being processed by the ATO.
Now, Sophie, take us through why are a number of these people now battling the clock? What is the impact of this share market fall?
So, Danica, in my story today in News Corp's papers, I spoke to many members who have tried to access their super early. The issue they are facing is they cannot get their hands on it quick enough. Josh Frydenberg announced this scheme earlier last month. You know, it's taken at least a month to implement it, which is very quick, mind you. But in this time, our balances of super accounts have drastically dropped. We've had global and international share markets from late Feb through to late March fall by 30% or more. So what's happening is super fund members are looking at their balances each day and seeing them move, seeing them drop. So when they go to process their application, they've actually got less money than they may have had a month ago. They cannot get the money fast enough.
It's a bit of a catch-22 situation by the sounds of it. Sophie, are there any dangers to accessing super early?
Absolutely there are. I mean, the issue we have here, Danica, is we are effectively robbing Peter to pay Paul. We are pulling out money at one end and we're not going to have any money at the other end. You know, one example in my story today was a man who's 51 who had just $16,000 in superannuation. He withdrew the whole $10,000 this time and he's going to pull back the whole $6,000 next financial year. So the issue we have is at the other end of the situation here, we're going to have a lot of Australians who have absolutely no superannuation. There are lots of traps with this, and you may also lose your insurance cover that you have through your super if you no longer have a super account.
What would be your advice to people? You know, hearing this, there are a lot of concerns, a lot of dangers surrounding it, but if people really need that money, what would be your advice to the consumers right now?
Look, it's their money, Danica. They've earned that money. It's in their super account. They are now entitled to it under these new COVID-19 measures. I would be saying to anyone who does decide to access it, though, think very carefully about it. If you do go for the full $10,000 amount, if you have $10,000 in your super account, use it very carefully. You only get 2 bites at the cherry here. People can access $10,000 this financial year and another $10,000 next financial year. That money is very easy to spend. It's not for shopping and non-essential items. It is for absolutely keeping a roof over your head, your electricity on, your groceries, and your important things such as petrol in the car.
Some very good advice there. It's certainly an interesting situation, but no doubt those figures will rise over the coming weeks as well. Sophie Elsworth, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me.